Hey everyone, I'm Nishagni and this is Nishagni Tarot, where you receive inspired insights to create an empowered life. Welcome to another episode of the Tarot Vlogmas Challenge by Papa Squirrel. So let's get started right away with prompt number 16. What do I protect? So for me, I think one of the most important areas of my life that I protect and which I want to protect is my mental space, my mental sanctuary. And for me, whenever I overthink something or there's just a lot of overwhelm, it affects my emotions tremendously. And so I really like to keep my mental space a veritable sanctuary, a cathartic oasis where everything is sort of efficient and calm and not completely under attack by debilitating thoughts or negative energies by somebody else, or even problematic issues which are something that are beyond my control. Because if it's under my control, if it's something that I can really do something about, then that's definitely something I'll take action towards. But when I am really worrying about an issue that is really hampering my mind and really affecting my the way I work, the way I do things, the way I relax even, then in those issues I really feel, hampering my mental peace, my mental sanctuary is something that's really problematic. So I want to protect it. So what do I protect? I protect my mental sanctuary, and I do this with the help of one deck, which is something that I found really helpful. It's a deck that I gifted myself on my birthday this year and which has become one of my most used oracle decks, and that is the Reclaim Oracle. So the Reclaim Oracle is an 88 card deck, and if you don't have it, you should get it right away. So let me just pull out a couple of cards that so you can see them. This is the size of the guidebook. It's got good, it's got about a prompt each for each card, and yeah, you have the artwork is like this. It's very gender neutral, and you have the name of an emotion or an experience written at the bottom. This is actually by Little Darkness Press, and what you can do with this is you can journal using these cards, you can meditate using these cards, or you can just pull a spread, figure out why you're feeling, I think this was, yeah, here you go, why you're feeling the way you're feeling, or just even look at these cards and try to figure out how your emotions are sort of treating you, right? And this deck has really given me joy. So yeah, this is one of my most favorite and most used decks to protect my mental peace, to create my mental sanctuary, and I think this is the deck that everyone should have. So let's get on to the next prompt, which is prompt 17. What song brings me joy and why? So for me, my choices in music are sort of really they are ever changing, so they're not really the same all the time. Currently, my favorite song that brings me a lot of joy is Dua Lipa's Love Again, and that's mainly because it kind of reminds me of the relationship I have with my books. So the song is basically about how the singer, or whoever it is, if you imagine yourself in the song, this person is in a position where they felt like that they would never find love again, that they would never love again, but somebody else comes in and they teach this person to love again and to fall in love and to really enjoy and experience life. And for me, I mean, although it's not 100% match, it sort of always reminds me of how Even though I have such a tremendous to be read list of books, I always manage to find another book that catches my interest at the last minute, and I kind of switch over to it. And whenever I purchase a book, I always feel like I'm never gonna find another book as amazing as this one. And then a couple of days later, I find a book that I want even more. And so it's in a very weird way in my head. I'm kind of singing that song to my books, and my to be read pile is sort of like withering away like the poor soul who's been abandoned, while I run around with my new books because they're new, shiny, and they are holding my interest even now. So yeah, this song kind of reminds me of that, and it always makes me chuckle, and that's why I really like this song at the moment. And if you're wondering, no, I don't abandon my to be read books. I do get to them, but it just takes a little while, so don't hold it against me. Okay, let's get on to the next one, which is prompt 18. Who or what do I cling to? Okay, so when I was actually thinking about this question and thinking about how I can answer this question, I was really considering the meaning of the word cling. Because whenever we use the word cling, especially in the sense of who do we cling to or what do we cling to, society has sort of given it a negative connotation. Whereas if you actually consider where the word cling stems from, it's not really bad. So the word cling used to represent also, and I'm saying also because it's not the sole representation, of course, but it used to represent also how baby animals used to cling to their mothers for safety, for protection. And even today, if you see baby chimps, baby apes, baby orangutans, baby sloths, and so many other baby animals, they still cling to their mothers for protection because they are unable to walk, they are unable to really do much. And so clinging to their parent is basically the way in which that they keep themselves safe, they grow up and they learn skills from their parent. And so in a way, clinging was an act of self-defense and an act of growth, an act of nurturing, which was supported by the mother as well. And so in that sense, when I look at what do I cling to, I don't really want to look at it as a negative connotation where I'm talking about I cling to something in a bad way. But what habits do I hold true to myself, which I hold on to, which I commit myself to, which can help me grow and nurture and become a better person, right? And there are two things that I cling to in that way. And first one is not really reading guidebooks too much. And I started this practice because I realized that in a couple of first decks that I used to buy, all those decks had really crappy guidebooks. They were those little white booklets. They didn't have a lot of information. They just had generic keywords that I could just find online if I just Googled them for free. And I wasn't really getting any value from them. And so for me, when I want to read a card, I really want it to be driven not just by the traditional meaning of the cards, but by also through my own intuition, through my own life experiences. Because at the end of the day, the archetypes of the tarot are the real psychological archetypes that affect our day-to-day lives. And I want my true lived experiences and the lived experiences of others to inform the meaning of the cards, rather than just taking what a guy 50, 60, 100 years ago wrote about these cards. And I don't really want to sort of pigeonhole or box them into that definition. And so one thing that I cling to, one practice that I cling to, is not reading the guidebook, or rather at least not reading it until I form my own understanding of the deck and my own relationship with the deck. And then if I still have any questions, if I'm still not sure what a card means in a particular position or in a reading, I pick up the guidebook just as a supplemental education, but not as the complete essence of the reading. So that's something I cling to. And another thing that I cling to is buying decks that don't have humans in them. And again, this is a very personal reason why I don't buy them, because I just cannot for the life of me connect to people. For me, animals and botanicals and other other maybe non-living objects or whatever else it is, any non-human entity is something that I can connect to way better than I can connect to people. Because with people, for me, when I look at people, it brings with it so many emotionally loaded baggage, whether it is from my own past, or it could be certain societal prejudices, or it could be the way current affairs is happening, and so it colors your opinion about people. And also because most of the decks, even today, although it's sort of changing right now and I'm really glad for it, is that most decks that you find really champion only certain body types, certain skin colors, and certain ableness, and it sort of really marginalizes communities that are already marginalized in real life. And I don't really want to see that in cards. When I look at my cards, I really want to escape into a world that to me empowers me and the people that I read for, and not really reminds me of all the reasons why I am marginalized or another person is marginalized, or all the evils that are there in the world. And I don't really want to be reminded of that, and I want to really give the most affirmative and empowering messages to people. And I can do that only through, for me, animal and botanical decks. So that's another thing that I cling to, which is buying decks that do not have human elements present in them. Okay, let's go to the next one. Prompt number 19. How do I celebrate the holidays? Okay, so for me, since I am not a practicing Christian, I don't really celebrate Christmas as a religious holiday. To me, this holiday season is more about what Christmas represents, in the sense of togetherness, community, friends getting together, families getting together, people kind of revisiting their resolutions, and me committing to my own self-growth for the next year. So the way I celebrate the holidays is basically in the midst of families. We buy rum cakes, which are really delicious, and from specialized bakeries which make Christmas treats. We have a party at home where the entire family, the extended family, comes over. We have drinks, we dance, we have food, and yeah, that's how we celebrate the holidays. Prompt 20. Does this holiday make you feel cold or joy? Normally I would have just said joy, but this year I'm feeling a mixture of cold and joy, and I'm saying this in a very positive way, because I believe that feeling cold can also be a good thing in certain circumstances. Like, for example, I have certain plans this holiday season which will take me to a really cold place. And so while I am dreading the cold, I'm also welcoming and really excited about all the things I'm going to be experiencing when I go on holidays. And on a more spiritual level, I think feeling cold and joy at the same time represents to me the fear that we have about the brand new year coming in, and about whether or not we would really complete our resolutions, be able to achieve our goals in the coming year, but also being excited about the opportunities that would present to us. And especially in the current COVID situation, the feeling of cold could also be about the fear about how the future might look like, whether this pandemic will ever end. But also the joy, because there's this sense of resilience. I mean, humanity has really gone through so much. We have really experienced so many things, and at this moment we can really still feel resilient and hopeful that things will become better and that we will come out stronger in the end. So yeah, do I feel cold or joy? I feel a bit of both. So there you go. Okay, this brings me to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next video in the Tarot Vlogmas series. Until then, take care.